it's not straightforward, because there are a lot of room for errors, because they are typing it manually. The reference number, the very important factors of invoices, the reference number, the vendor, the bank details. So they are typing it manually, and they are calculating the amounts what need to be paid to the vendor. So there are a lot of errors, and because of this there are delays in payments. That is the main pain point.
I would say good morning, Somnath, but it is not morning for you, right?
Yeah, it's late afternoon now. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to? Whereabouts are you based?
So I'm currently based out of India. The city is Calcutta, Kolkata. Yeah.
Fantastic. Being from London, I'll always ask what the weather's like because that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, the weather here is like it's summer now in India, and yeah, in this part of country it's really hot. And yeah, the whole India is hot now, but specifically this region where I belong to, so this is particularly very hot now. It's around 40 degrees Celsius.
40.
40,
Wow.
yeah. For it,
As an
so it,
Englishman,
yeah,
I
it
believe I
ranges
would melt
from
at that.
39 to 41 this time, yeah, for next
Wow.
2 months. Yeah.
Incredible. I think if London hits, mid 30s, we're all in trouble. So I can only imagine. Well, firstly, thanks so much for taking time out of your afternoon to join us. Uh, I'm really looking forward to having a conversation with you, and specifically around some of the things we're seeing with our clients with regards to vendor
Mhm.
invoice management
Sure.
for SAP
Yeah.
by OpenText. So, do you mind giving me just a quick sort of background on your time at Turnpikes and your history and what you specialize in?
Yes, sure, Jamie. So I started as an SAP ABAP consultant. So I was trained in SAP ABAP when I started my career in a company called Wipro Technologies. And then gradually I grew up there. I started the projects on SAP ABAP, and then I continued it for 8 years in different companies. And then I joined OpenText India consulting, where I was like where I got introduced into the vendor invoice management and the OCR and archiving and these technologies along with ABAP. So my role in OpenText, it was like a senior consultant when I joined, and then I started the projects, getting trained in Vim, and then I learned about what is Vim, and then how it is affecting the current industry and a particular process in every uh, industry. If you say like the accounts payable process, so the vendor invoice management is specifically designed uh, module, a very specific module from SAP and OpenText jointly, to cater the pain points and the process which is there in the accounts payable. So then I started into deep diving it, and then I joined Turnpikes 2 years back, and I'm continuing as an architect here. And yes, I'm gradually learning all the like the difficulties, or the what in the real world, what difficulties are faced by the accounts payable team. Although it sounds or it looks like okay, it's a single team, how much difficulty it would be, but it is very difficult, and it's a very if you say like it's a very uh, tiring job for accounts payable to handle manually if this automation is not there. Okay, so the areas which this vendor invoice management is touching, right, so it's really very helpful. and this automation for this industry. And when we are gradually moving to industry 4.0, which we it's a buzzword now, and AI, ML, and automation when we talk about it. So there, if I say, like, open text and SAP has already been there a couple of years back with their different modules in Vim. Like, if we talk about OCR, the IES solution which they came up with, right, information extraction service. So in that module, OpenText has already included the AI and ML, and they are talking about the how the machine will learn automatically when we try to validate or train the system with
Yeah.
different kind of invoices. So this is like, everybody is talking about now, but yeah, we are working on this. We are using this module, or this offering from OpenText from, yeah, couple of years back. So yeah,
It's been interesting.
that's
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
we've covered across sort of a lot of clients talking about implementation of AI, and
Yes.
I think there's a few things for us to sort of get to, and AI is definitely one.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of clients talk about implementing AI, but and we've said this previously. I'm not convinced every client that we've sort of spoken to or worked with
Hmm.
understands what's already available out of the box when it comes to that. So before we sort of get to that, because I think, like you say, it's very current, and a lot of people are talking about it.
Yes.
We talk a lot about your data's got to be in a good state. If you're going to
Hmm.
do anything with AI, your data has to be ready. Um,
Yes.
to take it sort of to back a level, I
Hmm.
think obviously you've got experience from being open tech side. You've got experience from being from a consultant side as well. What have you seen as a consistent theme through all of your experiences when it comes to clients first coming to you to talk about whether they need something like Vim in their organization?
Yes. So if we talk about the different the global clients which we have, like, which I came across in different organizations, right, in my last 6 years, 6+ years, when I'm like working on this Vim. So yes, the clients, when a Vim project or a Vim module get introduced into a client, so we have noticed that, yes, the client is, or the customer is already on SAP. Okay, they are using the SAP, they are using the FI and different modules. And then when there is a vendor invoice, or they are procuring anything, right, it's a procurement, it's a P2P, it's a part of a P2P process. So when there is a procurement, or when they are getting something from any vendor, so vendor always send the invoices, right, and invoices can be of different kinds. So there are credit memos, there are subsequent credits, subsequent debits, and if there are different kinds of different varieties of the invoices or the accounts document that they receive from vendor. And to process that, and to process it at various levels, right, because if we talk about the purchase order related invoices, or if it is a non-purchase order invoices, so it's not that simple to post that invoice into SAP system. Although SAP has provided a transaction code for that, but when the customers are not using Vim, they are all doing it manually, right? So they are archiving, or they are storing the document or the invoices in some other place, maybe in SharePoint or somewhere else, and then they are manually, like, they are referring the invoice, and then they are posting the invoice directly in SAP transaction. And then it's a very cumbersome process. It's not straightforward, because there are a lot of room for errors, because they are typing it manually. The reference number, the very important factors of invoices, the reference number, the vendor, the bank details, so they are typing it manually, and they are calculating the amounts, what need to be paid to the vendor. So there are a lot of errors, and because of this there are delays in payments. That is the main pain point. And the customers, or the industry where which we are talking about, the manufacturing industry, pharma, uh, uh, I can say every industry has this accounts payable, because they have to procure something from some vendors. And when there is a delay in payment, right, so then the vendors used to, like, they don't like the delay in payments. And then um, the customers, they sometimes they lose the vendors, or there is some problems that is arising. So to cater all this, then they think of some solution from, that is some automation maybe, which can be offered by SAP. Then we talk about the vendor invoice management. It's a complete process, it's a automated process, it's a workflow based solution which cater all these kind of pain points which typically the accounts payable has. And Sometimes the invoices comes in the paper form, it can come in email. And to manage all these things without a vendor invoice management, it's a very big task. And yeah, there is a huge loss sometimes in terms of money, or they lose the vendors, what I already mentioned, so because of
Yeah.
the delay in payments. So yeah, and these all have a financial impact, right? And vendor invoice management, this module is very effective in this area, because it has the capability to get the invoices automatically, to archive it automatically in a digital form, in a separate server, where it is safe and secured. And it we can define that for how long we want to keep the documents without getting it deleted, okay, without getting those legal documents get deleted. And then it has a capability to post the invoice and to make the payment, and to drive the accounts payable team and the finance team and the whole the process, the people who are involved in this accounts payable process, right, to drive them, so that everything is inside the due date, and the payment is within the due date, and the vendors are happy and the customers are happy. Yeah.
Yeah, and you said something really interesting there, which is it's workflow based.
Yes.
And I think, is it your experience that clients in general, when you start working with them, are aware of what their workflows look like, or do you spend a lot of time helping them understand what their actual workflows are and what the optimum workflow should be?
um yeah, sometimes like clients who are using SAP from long time, they are aware that there is something called workflow, SAP workflow, in SAP, which is like automated solution, automation. Okay, so they are sometimes aware of this nomenclature, but when we implement Vim, or when we go for this solution, right, so it's not necessary for the customers or the business to understand these technicalities, because this is the underlying technology of this module. So what is important for them, like we tell them that, okay, now you have four different groups, okay, your tax expert group, your maybe the accounts department, okay, and your tax expert, your then whom you refer your approvers, okay, and the vendor maintenance team. So these you have four different groups, and communication between these groups now you do with the email or something. And there is no deadline monitoring, like within which time they have to respond back, so that you can proceed it further, so that your payment is ultimately not getting delayed. So this kind of thing, now you are doing it manually, communicating or following up with different groups, or the finance head or the approvers through email or telephone call. Now it all be automated, they will get a reminder email, and this kind of things will be fully automated, okay. And if you have to return some invoices which you don't want to pay to the vendor, that you have to do through a phone call. You have to say to the vendor that, okay, I'm returning this because you have this problem and all. Now they will get a email, and you don't have to do much. You just have to click a button, and they will get all the details in the email with a specific text and the attachment of invoice, and everything will be more transparent. The whole process will be more transparent. That is there. And yes, we don't tell much about, we don't um, uh, engage, like we don't want to have the customers know more about the workflows, because from the business perspective it doesn't have any effect, right? They don't have to know what is workflow. They just have to know that how their process will be more streamlined,
Yeah.
and how the vendors will get it payment, will get paid in specific time within the due date. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many options around that, isn't there? Because if your workflows are tightened up and
Mhm.
you're efficient in them, then you've got more chance of taking advantage of things like early payment options on a contract, which could genuinely save you
Yeah.
money, right?